Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the SBO Developer Weekly Call for August 18th. Right now, it doesn't look like we have any specific announcements at this point. The issue triaging should really come at the end, so I'll add that here. Looks like Baiju, you had a topic regarding the SBO community. Would you want to bring that up, or what specifically you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. So, okay, I can see another topic Pavel is adding. If that is more important, we could go there. Otherwise, I'm okay to.
Well, I mean, it's on the agenda, right? So
Okay.
feel free to go through it first, and we can discuss
Yeah,
that
yeah,
if we
okay.
need to.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Then I'll try to keep it time bound. Like, okay. So this is generally I want to see how we can improve this community general discussion I want to have. For last time I added, but we didn't have time to discuss it. So some of the point that I want to bring up is that uh, see the external contributions, right? This is the one topic. How to improve, or external, how to increase, or improve. That is one topic that I want to have some input, or I want to see. We have contributions. If you look at our PRs, there are PRs of merged and closed in our repository, and there are issues created by external peoples in our system. And sometimes we see people joining this call. Sometimes we see people joining here, right? So I'm just trying to take note also. So people here in this call. So these are the also I also noticed that in Slack, public Slack, I mean some conversations in public Slack, right? Some conversations are there in the public Slack. These are the things that I observe that is happening in public. Uh, Apart from that, any other community things? I don't see much activity in any other platform. Am I missing something? Do you notice any other, uh, external people interaction with our tool apart from this? Yes, these are the key areas, right? PRs issues.
I think
Yeah, no,
today,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah, right.
I think that covers just about everything.
Yeah, yeah, right.
yeah.
Yes. So these are, of
Shouldn't
course,
not-
our touch points, basically.
right. So,
Yeah.
So,
So
what's the point, Baju? What are you trying
yeah.
to?
So now my point is that how do we make it more? For example, in this call itself, right? If you take it, this is people don't come very often here. So that is participation is, of course, if there is any need for that person to speak up, they'll come and join. And
Right.
we made this our, it is there in our main GitHub repository how to join this call. This is all public. We are uploading our videos to YouTube every day. I mean, after the call, we are doing uploading videos to. Okay, that's something we are doing. YouTube, and then what else we are doing? Yeah, so they're joining, but how do we make it more welcoming, or to increase the participation? That's the question. How to increase? So make it more regular, or is that even required? Maybe it's okay. Like whenever there is a demand for them to raise, they can come. That's okay, completely acceptable. Right?
Is there? I mean, how do we make it welcoming? Is one question. How do we get more adoption? Is another question, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, everyone that comes should feel welcome, right? To this
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
Be able to. We should make it clear, right? They should be able to add discussion items. We could prioritize, and I mean, as a community, we could say, hey, this is a focus area for us. We could prioritize external discussion items first because we have more time to discuss internal things, in our other meetings, right? So definitely something that comes up, in this call, or something that comes up as an issue, something that comes up, we should prioritize, right? For that point, make it a welcoming experience. Now, how to increase adoption is a separate thing. You need to create a good product that add value, and then do the right marketing. You know, it's just people need to know about it, right? So
Yeah. So for adoption, that's a separate topic. Maybe we'll come to that in a moment. Like we are doing something like writing blog post and conference. Okay, there was only one conference talk was there, right?
There was
I
a
think Pradra or
proposal.
Avini.
Oh,
That
with
didn't.
Avni? No, that's
Oh yeah,
before.
Avini, but that didn't go through, right? I mean,
I
that
mean,
was
I
not
know
accepted.
Predrag submitted one, but that didn't go through. I think at the time it was on the wait list. But this is an opportunity for us to, gain more exposure, right? Is to, sign up for more conferences and see if we could publicize this project, right, to the external community.
Yeah.
Right?
I did an internal presentation, but that was only
Mhm.
Red Hat.
Right, it's internal, yeah.
Yeah, internal public talks. Yeah, well, okay, let me not divert to this right now. But
what we're doing with working with cloud providers, I think is good,
Right.
because those are
That's the topic.
catalyst type of activities. Those are things that, because of the type
Yeah.
of use that they get,
Oh, yeah.
if they promote us, then we're set, right? So we have the visibility we need, right? But so the work that you're doing is a good example of things we can do.
Yeah. That's another area that we are trying to service. But it's obviously like ACK is the one good example now. So I think slowly, I hope these words will get small, will spread more, I guess. And okay, I just want to bring up attention to these issues, and if we have already gone through those issues multiple times, right? So some of the issues we are responding quickly, but some of them are there for a long time. There is no resolution or things like that. So if see, I remember. Okay, I think still there is one PR I sent to the HEM project. It must be, I don't know, almost maybe more than 6 months now. That is I written code, everything, but nobody looks into that PR. Okay, I'm not blaming M community, but they may have their own reasons. So one of the things that's demotivating me to continue to look at that project was that nobody's looking at that my issues or PRs that I sent, right? So the same feeling could be there if somebody report an issue or PR, and if there is no activity. I know that we might be busy with our sprint goals and working that way, but I think we need to we should consider those issues, right? Currently, there are, I think, couple of PRs open, and there are few more issues that need addressing. So we need. Okay, I don't want to jump into more details, but I think that's something we need to take into consideration. I mean, review open PR, especially external people, right?
Well, no. I mean, so it is important to look at external contributors for sure, right? But at the end of the day, if we have a clean, consistent process on how we handle issues, PRs, updates, requests, questions, etc., right, then that helps to show that we are responding in a timely manner, right? So it's not just about focusing on external contributors; it's about how we run our team, right? If we can show that we have a good process in place, whenever there is an update or a question, we respond to it in a timely manner, and that shows that we're actively engaged and involved in these discussions, right? And just have an understanding across our team as to, hey, you know what? It's great that you're asking a question. Can you bring it? Can you come to our these weekly developer calls to further discuss this so that we understand their concerns, their questions, their PRs, whatever that may be, right? And just to show that engagement with them, right? In theory, without having to change how we work, right? This is just should be the normal way of working for us.
I feel one objection to that is some people will not be terribly comfortable coming to a random call like this. Random for them, that is. They may be more comfortable explaining it over a GitHub issue, because that seems to be fairly standard across the industry. And expecting people to show up to a call like this,
Yeah.
I think it's going to vary from person to person on their willingness to do that. It isn't going to be something that we can universally expect, or for that matter, universally reject.
Well, no, and that's the thing. It's like David said, right? It's one update in the sense of, hey, this is available to us. What would you like to do? Right? You can engage with you in Slack. We can engage with you in issues. We can engage with you in our community call, right?
And then on the interest too, like if they have interest, important issue, and we're not getting through in GitHub because the back and forth takes too long, or the back and forth is not clear, right? What better way to fix it than, hey, come to the calls. This is available to you weekly, then that might increase participation. For example, and the Helm, I always try to compare to the Helm community. The Helm community has the same problems as newcomers are not welcome because their PRs don't get merged. I know people for a fact that they get discouraged, from the support team, trying to help create PRs when they create the bugs. They also try to fix it, and then they're not getting any reviews. But the Helm community is already established and popular, right? So they have the luxury of rejecting some of those and then just picking and choosing the ones that they want. I don't think we have that luxury. Okay, so we should definitely take care of newcomers. Right? Newcomers. I agree with Jasper. I mean, newcomers are not first-class citizens, but in our case, I think we should treat them well. Because that's a focus area that we have, right? So,
yeah. And I have one more thought that we are doing at least even though this is an open source project, upstream project, we consider it as an upstream. We still have some of the information. Okay, I think our Jira is also open, I guess, right? It is visible to outside also, right? Unless it is a special comment Red Hat only, I guess. But that Jira itself is not that easily visible, in my opinion, because of course, what people see mostly is the GitHub issues they report here, but there are quite a lot of discussions and things going on in our Jira also. Even though that is technically visible, I guess, but not really. Easily, if people cannot see that in a issue. We don't, for example, we don't link to those issues, right? In any of our PRs, for example. But whereas we have a lot of discussion going on in our Jira also.
Right. And I would posit to say that I think, especially if there is a GitHub issue, right, updates should be in our GitHub issues, not in Jira, for example. Right. So at least that will help the rest of the community who may not necessarily know about the Jira space see what's going on in our project itself.
Okay.
Right. So I think definitely there's no opportunity to kind of figure out how we interact between the two environments, just so that we can show more updates to the users who are looking at our GitHub community. Right. So I think that warrants further discussions on our side to figure out what that should be.
Just keep in mind that the Jira is supposed to be for the productized version of SBO. It's not meant for the upstream. So product-specific things should be discussed there. But if there is anything which is specific to the project, it should be in the GitHub.
Yeah, but we are not doing exactly that way. Even we are most of our stories, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And Baiju, I agree. Right. I think this will require a conversation on our side and how we operate. Right. So
we're doing the upstream project like a downstream project, basically, right? So,
right.
And that's I mean, this is a great discussion to have, right? So let's maybe use an opportunity in the future to get through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
So that's another thing. And okay, anyway, these are some of the things. So we need to review more open PRs, and can we consider some of the items into our sprint itself so that we can spend more time on the PR or review? Some of the PRs need more attention, right? So it is.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Make it part of our sprint goal itself to look into some of the issues. For example, if I go to right now, I see some of the issues that need more investigation to respond, right? There was a couple of PRs opened.
You mean like these
Some,
ones?
yeah,
here?
for example, yeah, 1097, that least duration. Yeah, there was some discussion already, but still, I don't think whatever the solution that he's proposing is, definitely that person is facing some issue. Charlie, I think he's working audio, I guess. So I'm just taking one example, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that
So-
kind of issues need more investigation from our side to properly respond to that.
So here's my question though, right? We are supposed to have a triage process, right? Would that be part of their responsibility to be looking at this and seeing where these things are, right? And how are we implementing that right now, for example?
Yeah, this is not just triaging alone, because somehow this, if okay, this in this case itself, I realize that this need more investigation. Then only we could properly guide him or help him. He has sent a PR, but I don't fully understand that PR correctly. I already made a comment last March or something, and that PR is even recently, just couple of days before 22 days actually, he ran into the same issue again. So he's commenting in that ticket again. So I can see this would be somewhat frustrating, even though that
Right.
issue was open in Jan, and then again he's coming back recently. So that means he's still getting into that issue. But we don't have any, we haven't merged that PR because that PR is really ambiguous. I'm just taking this as an example. Like
Yep,
there are
yep.
other PRs also. So that means one, if we really make it spend more time or make it part of our time, then only we can properly respond to that one, right?
Right. So Baiju, I think this is a really good conversation. I just want to be cognizant of time and knowing that Pavel still has a topic, right? I think what I'm going to ask, and if everyone's okay with this, is that, definitely, these are gaps that you're identifying, right? My question to you is, can you come back to us perhaps next week with a proposal, right? Knowing what it currently exists today related to the triage maintainer, with relating to our current processes and how we work, right? What suggestions do you have on how we could change, right, to accommodate some of these gaps that you've identified?
Actually, regarding trash management, I think Andy has done a good job, and we have a good lot of action items we already considered, right? Those looks good to me. So this is more broader than that. Like
I'm
how
aware,
do we?
right?
Yeah.
I'm asking what other changes do we need to make in order to address these gaps that you've identified, right?
Yeah. Okay. So
I
I can come up with my own thoughts like this,
Quick
but
comment.
yeah.
Sorry, David, go ahead.
Comment on this, guys, because you've been going back and forth. I want to give you a chance to discuss, but I do think that the triage process should include, as part of the process, labeling one of the stories correctly so that we can then include it in our board. So including things in our board should be part of the triage process. I don't know if it's there now, but if it's not, maybe that's what needs to be addressed.
Exactly. What gaps do we that's still missing? So
the triage maintainer should be able to understand, okay, this is a PR, this is a history. I can take care of this quickly in 10 minutes, or no, this requires more attention because this is new technology that we don't understand. Let's create an issue. The issue is going to be in our Jira board, right?
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah, definitely. That issue is talking about some bare metal, which I don't have any experience about that.
Yeah. And no, thank you, Baiju, for bringing this up. I'm going to hand it over to Pavel for the next topic. Pavel?
Okay, so the thing I want to quickly show is basically the first glimpse of the release branches that we are going to introduce to SBO, and hopefully working like short demo. So the thing is that currently we have everything in the master branch, and only for the PRs we are creating branches and then merge them to the master. And to keep sort of source of a particular release in the past, we tag commits, right? So if anybody wants to get the sources of the particular release, such as 1.0.1, for example, it would check out the particular tag. But that brings problems when we need to, for example, backport something or just change things in every release, such as documentation base or something. So right now it's not sort of possible because what we would, since we have the only branch. So the idea is to split and use branches for storing release sources for each release. Basically, the way how it would work is at the point where we would now tag a commit, we would branch it. We would branch the master branch with a release, sort of like a release slash and the release number or something, right? And then if we need to later on, for example, fix security or anything, we would then, either, commit or send PRs to that particular release branch, or better, if it is something that affects everything, we would go to the master, and then once it's merged to master, we would cherry pick that commit to the respective release branches, which are sort of affected, right? So what I'm going to show you, hopefully working, is how it would look like in the GitHub. I've tried, I've found some in the GitHub action that can do the cherry picking of the PR commit to the release branches. And so basically this, let's imagine we have a PR to the master, of course, which is supposed to be updated everywhere, right? I just, for the demo reasons, I just updated the README in SBO and added sort of, the nickname for the like just edit this one, and I want to be for every README for every release. I know it's sort of an academic example, but this is the change. It does not require running acceptance tests, so it's fast to. I don't need to wait for it to run. So let's imagine we have this PR, and I already set up in our or in this copy of the repo in my fork 2 release branches for 1 point. Well, the release branches are based on the feature version. So the release branches are 1.0.x and 1.1.x. There wouldn't be a release branch for every patch release. Those patches should then come to the respective feature, release branches. So let's say I want to backport to the other release branches as well. So to do so, I have introduced basically release tags. So I say I want this change to be also applied to these releases. So let's imagine everything is okay passed. So let's merge it. So now this change is merged to the master. And then the GitHub action or GitHub workflow is triggered. Based on these labels, it would pick up the commit and create additional pull requests for that particular release branches, cherry picking that commit. It takes some time, right? So as you can see, these 2 commits has been created, 1 for each release branch,
yep.
Right? And of course, when we run it, right now it doesn't do that, but every PR checks that are here now should be triggered as well, right? So it should be normal. It should be sort of a normal PR. It's just automatically created with the cherry pick.
And
right?
the release branches already have the CI working?
Yeah. I've modified the branch. So I have sort of put all the CI in all of those branches.
Why
so
are you
it's already
maintaining?
set up.
Why are you maintaining 2 branches back if we only support one version? Back?
This is for I've used 2 because I want to check how it works with multiple release branches, right?
But it doesn't
if
necessarily we'll do it like that.
Right. If you decide, I want to make it, rock solid, so it works even if we decide to keep every release or every feature release, right?
And then the other question is there a lot more work, to set up CI for more release branches?
No.
Like
I can show you how the commit to set up the branches look like.
Okay.
Right now, right? So I have the commits to set up the release branches,
yep.
And it for my repo, I had to change some things so that I won't, push to the live, to the production repos. But basically, I had to introduce additional workflow for publishing. Or I didn't mention that, but for each, once we merge the commits or PRs to the release branches, there is also a workflow that will, build and push the operator for that particular release to QA. But there would be a different index image. It would be really specific index image, right? Similarly, like we have, the operator service binding operator /index or index. There would be like index and the release. So we would have multiple multiple index images, one for each release plus the master. Right now, right. So this is the workflow to do that. It's basically the same, just is tweaked for the particular name of the index image, right? Needs to contain the release name on the release version. And this is I also had to add the for the CI to work on the release branches as well. This doesn't work much yet, but these are the changes. But the really, if you need to add additional CI for cherry picking the release branch, this is the actual workflow to cherry picking. And basically, there is one with this setup. There is one job for each release, and to add new release branch, basically we would just copy this job and change the versions appropriately. And we also need to add the label for the release to issues, and that should be it.
Yep, we need this. So
it's not perfect, it's, as I said, it's the first glimpse. I need to, of course, make sure that it works and everything. But so far it looks good.
Right? This is on your fork, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right now, your fork, right? That sounds good to me.
Looks good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Comments, feedback? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Yeah, but I was thinking maybe initially can we do the cherry picking manually for few releases and see how it goes?
Yeah, sure, no problem. As I said, this is just for automating of creation of the PR, but to actually merge the PR, somebody has to take a look and approve it, right?
Yeah.
And also that as part of the process, actually the additional branch is created in the repo for the cherry pick itself. So you can, if you take a look at the...
Oh, it's going to create a new branch there itself.
Yes.
So we can modify that.
We can modify that, yeah. Because I expect that at some point in the future, especially for the older releases, there might be some conflicts, of course. Right. So there is a branch to...
if there's a conflict, cherry pick is not going to get created, right? Are we going to get notified in Slack or something?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I can set up that in the workflow.
Okay, if it fails, then you get notified. The branch is there, but it needs to be, babysit by a human.
Yeah. Eventually, we might want to set it up to if all the tests has passed, to be auto approved or something. That's
right. Appreciate the discussion. We're at the bottom of the hour and end of the call. So thank you so much. Look forward to future conversations. Thank you. Bye-bye.